Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You are watching and listening worldwide on YouTube.com, Facebook, on mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.com. I'm very happy to have a guest here with me today, Marcus Tatum. Swing tackle, can play left tackle, can play right tackle, and I'm excited for a bunch of reasons. Grew up a Jacksonville fan from 1995 from the beginning, have covered Jacksonville on site, on location for the majority of the last, now going into my 12th year. And as I told him off the air, I've become a big fan of UCF because I've been defending UCF like crazy. So Marcus Tatum, for many reasons, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And let's start with UCF, man. Why don't y'all get the respect that you deserve?
Probably because of the conference we're in, but it started to shift between us, Cincinnati, and Houston. It's hard to be denied now. Tulsa as well, because they just went really crazy in this draft. So it's starting to flip around. In the beginning, it was really just the conference, and they didn't respect it until we started playing bigger and better teams and playing higher drafted prospects and started whooping them. So now it's becoming more even now, and it's being recognized more.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think that ultimately, like you said, I mean, it's taken time within the American Athletic Conference for that to happen. What can you say about playing inside of the American? Because you've been, UCF's been relevant, Cincinnati's been relevant, Tulsa, like you said, has come up. Houston has done some good things as well. There's a lot of teams that have Memphis too, with the Tigers and all the guys that they send to the NFL. So what can you say, even though eventually UCF is leaving the American, what has it been like to be in the American Athletic?
When I transferred from Tennessee after being 4 years in the SEC, it's really just the kids are hungry and they all have a chip on their shoulder. So in some place in the SEC where some kid might let up on the backside in the American Conference, that kid's going to chase that running back all the way down from the backside. And I've seen that multiple times. And it's just sometimes in SEC, people are worried about draft status, not getting hurt. But in the American Conference, people are throwing their bodies around like it's high school sometimes. And it's just a different hunger sometimes. But now it's translating because more and more Power 5 kids are transferring there. So it's really getting more and more even across the board because with the transfer portal and everything, I feel like high school recruiting is decreasing a little bit. And it's just a battle of getting the best players from each school. And it's really making college football even across the board.
Yeah, and you said that, with the transfer portal, we're seeing this change occur where some coaches are going heavy on the transfer portal, not so much high school athletes. Some are still going high school, not so much transfer portal, and other coaches are doing kind of 50-50. How do you see this, like you said, evening out the playing field a little bit, but how do you see the transfer portal and view it, as someone who has transferred? You can speak about the experience firsthand, so what can you say to that effect?
I think I was in the first or second year of it, maybe the first. And it's just, I pretty much feel like it adds another stars to recruiting. So it's 5 stars, then there's 6 stars because they've been in a college program. They understand the offense. They understand a little more discipline of what it takes in college. And it's an easier transition. They don't have to go in the classes to help them along or the speeches to get them acclimated and things like that. And with NIL and all that, I feel like it's just really going to just change the game even more. It's going to be fun to watch, and it helped UCF a lot, so I'm all for it. But I just like that anything for the players to help them get in better situations, I'm all for it. There's some situations where it looks iffy, but who am I to say because I did it? So I don't judge. I know a lot of people are going to try to use it as a judging point, but it's best for the kids, and that's all that matters to me. And I feel like it's just giving people a better opportunity. But in the long run, I feel like it's going to hurt high school recruiting a lot. Because because I was a 3-star coming out of high school, and I don't know if I would have made it and got all those SEC offers as a 3-star if we got that one kid. It was all over Twitter from Georgia. I don't know, that offensive tackle from Georgia, and he was playing with FSU and Miami. They ended up going back to Georgia. So if he was doing all that, would have Georgia offered me out of high school? I doubt it. So it's just, in the long run, I think it's going to hurt high school recruits.
Yeah, like you said, you've utilized it, but name, image, and likeness is there. And obviously conference realignment is happening again. So between realignment, Mark Emmert is stepping down as president of the NCAA. Before that, he said he didn't have any control over college football. There's the autonomy group of the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, the ACC. Then there's the other conferences that aren't a part of the autonomy group. And, and like we talked about the transfer portal, how do you see collegiate athletics continuing on here? And you said, obviously some control going to the players. Coaches could tell you they were going to stay and leave the next second. They can promise you the world and go away. The NCAA makes billions of dollars off of student athletes, and you guys weren't getting any of that money. Now the transfer portal gives you control. Now name, image, and likeness gives you some money. How do you see this shift? And with all of these things happening in college sports, I know you're out of it now and heading to the NFL, but what's it going to look like, in your opinion, as we go forward?
Depends on the atmosphere of the coaching staff. It's like, I know Coach Malzahn does a great job in supporting us in NIL and wearing all of our shirts and stuff like that. But if your coach is, not for you really, and he's like all against it, not really trying to help you, then it might be bad. But I remember we were sitting in meetings. Coach Malzahn was all for it, but he was just saying we were going to do it right. We weren't going to break any rules. Nobody was going to get in trouble for it. So we were going to sit here and we were going to learn it inside and out as a team and as a coaching staff. And we were going to learn it. But I just feel like it just all depends on your coaches and if they support the players truly or not. Because that's what it's going to come down to. Everybody says they're for their players and stuff, but now it's really going to show, like, are you going to help your players, like, make their own brand bigger than yours and beneath yourself for your players? And I feel like Coach Malzahn did that instantly the moment he found out he could, and we really appreciated that.
Here with Marcus Tatum on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, a swing tackle heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars after the draft. Here's an undrafted free agent inside of the Cafe Kubal studio speaking with Marcus. You just mentioned your head coach, Gus Malzahn. He came from the SEC and all of his time that he spent in Auburn and came to UCF, wanted to come to UCF. And in all my coverage of the American Athletic, I've seen coaches poached pretty much every single season to go into the autonomy group, the quote-unquote Power Five. Gus did the opposite. He came to UCF. He wanted to be at UCF. He spoke about the importance of this, that potentially maybe this is his last stop. You've spoken about his support of the players. What's it like to be in a locker room, in practice, in a game with Gus Malzahn, and what do you like about him leadership-wise?
His energy and how he always puts his best foot forward for us. He'll do whatever it takes. He'll make sure the coaches are giving their all. All he asks is that we give us his all. And it's really easy to go hard for somebody when you know they're going to do everything they can for you. We saw how late they were getting out of meetings and the things they were doing for us and the detailed breakdowns. And he really just went above and beyond. And just even outside of football, he was always there for us. His wife did a great job. It was just a family atmosphere at the coaching staff. And it makes college football much easier when you have a support group of coaches that feel like family. And it's like when it's an actual family, it makes it easy to go out there and run during summer workouts, long practices and all that. It's just, when they're yelling at you, it's like it's out of love, makes you have the best interest for you. So I feel like that contributed to our success a lot.
Yeah, and at UCF, Davis obviously got drafted in the 6th round to the Niners. And then we saw Cole Snyder head off to the Green Bay Packers, Big Cat Bryant going to the Dallas Cowboys, Brandon Johnson to the Denver Broncos, and you to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What can you say about your teammates and what they bring to the table, and either drafted or undrafted, what this group looks like that's heading into the NFL?
If KD wouldn't have got hurt, he would have been a top 3-round pick because he would have finished that year. Nobody could block him all year. Brandon, when we were at Tennessee together, he just really wasn't getting the looks with the ball and stuff. And the moment he did get the looks, he led the whole conference in touchdowns and still I don't even think he got any all-conference awards. He led the league. And I think, he led the league in reception touchdowns. I think with 11. And then Big Cat, just a monster off the edge, a great motor, and he's just hungry. He has a chip on his shoulder. He came from the SEC as well. And then Cole, I think he started like 46 games at UCF, and he's just a monster. Every time he pulls, he's just sacrificing his body, trying to knock somebody out. And it was really fun playing next to him.
And so for you, as you have this opportunity to move forward, you decided, like you said, to come from Tennessee, to come from the SEC and come to UCF. What was it about UCF in your transfer portal experience that really sold it to you that this was the right place to have that actually, that other year in your time in college before you made a jump to the NFL. Why did you feel that UCF was going to be the right fit, as obviously you were eyeing a look to play professionally?
And honestly, I really clicked with the offensive line. That's first and foremost. You have to have a good room that you want to be in. And then a big factor was Dylan Gabriel. Man's a monster. He's going to get the ball out. He's going to throw bombs. He's going to lead the offense. It was just a really easy selling point to go and block for him and then coach hype in that offense. And then just the atmosphere of Orlando and UCF. It's just fun to be around. Like Tennessee was like a little more old school and traditional, but you walk into UCF's game and it's like a party. It's fun being out there. And it's like you're getting cheered on by people in your age group, and it's just different. There's not like 80-year season ticket holders. It's like the alumni are like 20 years older than me. So it's like the experience is better. I could say that.
Has UCF arrived, or do you feel like it's still arriving? How do you view UCF on the national landscape?
I think they've been arrived. They arrived before I got there, and now they're arriving even more. And it shows by the amount of players that they're getting right now and the players that we're putting out. And the success is going to be there. Like, I think I didn't even play with them, but Gabe Davis went crazy in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then the Griffin twins. And then McKenzie went off to Florida State, still did well. Latavius Murray. There's been so many people, and a lot of these guys I don't even know, but then like I heard of them when I was at Tennessee, and it's just, I think it's been arrived. It doesn't get as much attention because people don't want to respect the conference, but then Cincinnati gets, I think they had 9 people go, so it's like they don't have, like the football world doesn't have to respect us, but the NFL does, and that's all that matters, honestly.
Yeah, and the NFL has definitely done so in that respect, and you bring up a great point with Cincinnati sending 9 and Desmond Ridder being the second quarterback coming off the board outside of Kenny Pickett. So I agree with you. I think UCF has more than arrived. So you play swing tackle, you can play right, you can play left. Bring me into why you feel you can be versatile on both ends. I've talked to guys that have also played a swing and had to play part of their collegiate career at left tackle, right tackle. Some guys switching mid-season, and they've spoken with me about the mechanics and training their body. Some people say that it's easy. Some people say they had to stand in a mirror and constantly train themselves to get right. What can you say about your experience of learning how to play left and right tackle and just how it comes to you at this point and what that has really turned into, and if it was hard to be able to transition initially?
It's really just attacking it and just not thinking too much about it, because when I really think about it, actually, one of my beginning games at left tackle was against Josh Allen. It was at the Jags. But then I went to UCF, and then I played against Majay Sanders at right tackle. And then last year I played against him at left tackle. And then so it's just really just about feeling the speed. It feels different sometimes on your kick leg, but I felt great speed on both sides. So I just feel like getting that feel, that's what a lot of people feel like it's different. It's all cool and fun in practice, swinging back and forth, but until you swung back and forth, when it's game time and the light's on and you got a good rusher in front of you, you can't really tell how it's going to happen. So really just focusing on my weight distribution. But now it feels so natural that at Tennessee, the UAB game, I did it in the middle of the game. I was going from right and I went to left because I played against another kid that went to Jacksonville, went to UAB, the DN. I actually didn't even play that well against him. I played like average, but I was flipping back and forth in that game too. And just, it's all about weight distribution. But at this point, I feel the exact same now on both sides.
And you talked about going up against Majay Sanders, who's a native of Jacksonville, and then going up against Josh Allen, who's in Jacksonville. What did you learn from some of those experiences and those takeaways from obviously very competitive guys, and one of them that you'll have an opportunity to potentially go up against in practice?
That I can't watch their head. That's something Josh does really well. I bit on a head fake once, and I gave up a sack to him because I bit on his head fake inside. So it really taught me just to focus on like a midpoint in their jersey, just to focus on that and not bite on it, because they're going to sell a lot to get around you, because talented and they can bend the edge a lot harder than most people. Because most people, I'm long enough and I can kick fast enough to just run them around. But with them, when they put that foot behind me and they turn that edge and they dip and rip, it gave me an experience that many people can never say they can get. So a lot of people don't know what the league is going to be like, but I've played plenty of players in the NFL, and now I just feel like I have a better experience going into this. I'm not really nervous. It's just I know what I have to do. I know what they can do. I know what they're capable of, and I know what they've been blessed with. I know what I've been blessed with. I just got to use it.
And you spoke about, obviously, having your time in the SEC before you came to UCF. Is the SEC essentially, the almost NFL, or feel like the NFL, because you said you've gotten so much experience with guys that have moved on to the NFL? You've seen that playing in the American Athletic with multiple players drafted, and you've also seen that being at Tennessee. What can you say to the fact of what the American is brought in and what the SEC does really top to bottom in the conference that, at least from my perspective, it feels very NFL-esque? And if you look at Jacksonville's roster in and of itself, 3 of their 5 offensive linemen on the roster right now that would potentially be starters if the game were to go on today are from the SEC.
Yeah, well, they got Cam Robinson, who's one of the mecca left tackles in our generation. Between him, I remember watching him and, oh man, the one who went to Ole Miss. What was his name? Greg? What was his name from Ole Miss?
Look at the Ole Miss offensive tackle.
Yeah, that had the gas mask.
And do you know where he's at now?
I think he plays for the Texans.
Yeah, so the Ole Miss offensive tackle that you're talking about, because I'm thinking about somebody else here. Are you talking about Tunsil?
Yeah, Tunsil. So between them two, it's like growing up and seeing them, and then even watching Alex Leatherwood and Jedrick Willis. And then Juwan, who's there right now, it's just been a group of tackles. It's been really good tackles, and it was fun to be a part of that, but then they definitely succeeded more than I did. And it was just humbling just to watch their tape and just learn. And just being in that, it really is NFL-ish, because look at who's out there right now. And it's people directly from these teams, from both the SEC, AAC, and it's actually really cool to see. And just watching them growing them and then going in there and playing against them and competing against them team to team, it's fun. And I don't know, it's really – the AAC is really carrying its weight. And I know it's just not going to get a lot of respect because it doesn't sell. You talk about Tennessee, it sells. You put articles about Tennessee, it sells. You talk about UCF, it doesn't really sell, but they're producing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you said, they don't have to recognize us in college because they recognize us in the NFL. Cam Robinson, like you mentioned, at left tackle, he just got extended out of Alabama, being in Jacksonville since they drafted him. And Juwan Taylor also drafted by the Jaguars out of Florida, left tackle and right tackle respectively there. What are you looking forward to getting into camp and the opportunity to learn from Cam Robinson and Juwan Taylor? What is it about their games that you really like that you think can help you? And have you had the opportunity to speak with them person to person at this point?
No, I haven't. And then my goal in camp is to shut up and listen. They've been there, they've done that. So we just sit there and soak it all in and just be humble and go to work. But I would want, if it was a perfect world, I would love Cam Robinson's feet and Juwan's punch, so I can see a little bit from both of them, because Juwan punches people and puts hole in their chest, and I think Cam could dance in front of a jackrabbit if he had to. So they both have respect of their own talents, and just going to try to soak it all in.
Marcus, before I let you go, what makes you so humble? I mean, we've had over 3,000 people join this show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, I'm going to shut up and listen. That's what I'm there for. What creates that humble nature about you?
That was the way I was raised, and there's no point in being a cocky person, because it'll all be taken away from you quickly. So I've been blessed with the opportunity, and it's just I'd rather soak up the blessing than waste away smelling myself and just being conceited, because at this point in time, I'm already in a blessed position just even signing it. I know some of my friends who didn't even sign anywhere, so I just got to be grateful and just keep pushing. And then I know the hard work will pay off, but at the end of the day, I still want to be a good person. Money doesn't change people. And a lot of people think once you get to the league, you automatically turn like some multi-billionaire who doesn't talk to anybody, any of that. But it's just like, there's no need for that. Like, I don't know. It's interesting how that dynamic changes with people, but I don't think I ever will. There's no point. And I'd rather be humble and just be a normal person in the crowd than be above everyone, because that's just a weird feeling, and I'd really hate attention.
So what is it about, you talk about that, being humble and that's the right thing to do. What can you say about your circle, the people that you feel are the best to help you to be the best you can be? I tell people all the time, I don't have any yes men in my life. I don't have any yes men or yes women. I have people that are going to tell me the truth. Who's in that circle for you that are always going to kind of challenge you to be your best self?
I remember Trey Smith is one of my best friends, and he went through hell and back with his medical issues. Should have been a top 10 pick, went 6th round, been through the ringer, then ended up starting all the games with the Kansas City Chiefs and absolutely balled. But the draft night, I was getting frustrated, and he was just pretty much saying to shut the hell up and just put your head down and go to work, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you still have to make the active roster at this point anyway, and you guys are all going in with the same opportunity. And there's a lot of my friends who've been in the NFL, and they're just like, don't get caught up in the hype, because you might see all these people getting took everywhere, but you got to realize there was like 20-something first-round picks. Like, it's not like I'm falling behind in the curve, and I feel like that's where a lot of people start getting in their own head and just saying like they're just so far behind, but you're really not. You're in a fraternity of people where it's like, I couldn't even guess, but I guess there's easily under 1,500 people in the NFL in general amongst all the rosters. And it's just, they just really just give me the perspective that it doesn't really matter at this point. And it's just all about going out there and playing football. And just reminding me that signing bonuses get thrown around, contracts get thrown around, but at the end of the day, you still got to go block them. So it doesn't matter, because he was talking about, because he saw me, because at first at the end of the draft, I was hearing a lot, then I wasn't hearing a lot, then I was, and I wasn't, and it was just going up and down. He was just like, just control your emotions, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you sign in Jacksonville. The first-round pick gets signed, he signs a bunch of money, but you still got to go out there and block him, so what money doesn't really matter. And it just puts things in perspective. That's still about football. And no matter what somebody's getting paid, I still got to go block, and they still got to go against me, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and for you with Jacksonville, when the draft, how did everything come about? When the draft ended, when did you get that phone call, and did you have other teams that you kind of had to put everything out in front of you and decide the best option?
Yeah, it was a couple teams, and I don't even know if I'm even allowed to go into it, so I just won't. It was a good amount of teams, and I was just sorting like the best options for me. But then some teams were disappearing randomly, and some teams would come back, and it was just a roller coaster of emotions, because it's your future, really, and you've been dreaming about it your whole life. Just for it to go up and down, up and down, up and down, but just to get those calls from my friends just to just shut up and just be blessed that you're going somewhere. And it's just like, wow, because there's some kids who didn't even get a mini camp invite, and there's like a lot of people's careers who ended that night. So I just got to be thankful for what happened, and then I got a call that I signed it, sent it on over, and that I'm reporting next Wednesday.
Yeah, an awesome opportunity for you to do that. You talked about Cam Robinson's feet and Juwan Taylor's punch. What is it about your game that you think are your best attributes that you can bring to the table right away?
A length and versatility, and how fast I'm learning this playbook. Because once you know what to do, you can move a lot faster. And then I don't get beat around the edge. So I feel like that's going to be a very strong suit in the NFL. Questions can't really win all the time. So I know a lot of people are going to try to beat you with speed and a finesse move to get to that quarterback quicker, because it's all about their sacks, and just soak it all in. And I'm a humble person. I'm going to learn quick. I'm not really going to put myself above anybody, and I'm just going to learn. And I feel like that's going to help me contribute, because I'll be able to be a team guy, not a me guy.
You talked about Dylan Gabriel and what he's meant to you. You have the opportunity to play with Trevor Lawrence now. What can you say are your favorite things about Dillon Gabriel? And then what are you looking forward to with Trevor Lawrence?
Dillon is just one of my favorite things about Dillon is he don't like to get hit. So he's going to get that ball out. He's going to make his reads fast. He's going to learn the coverages. He's going to learn every route pattern because he don't want to get touched. So he's going to throw that ball, make his completions, and get the ball out because he doesn't like getting hit. And he has a beautiful arm. And he just led. And sometimes he took control of the game, and the coaches let him, and he did that. And he was a good leader. And then with Trevor, I have no idea about Trevor, but what he did at Clemson, and you just got to respect it. I didn't know much about Clemson. Watched the national championship, and just watching him succeed, and watching some of the throws he made. He's got to respect it, and he's ready to listen and get used to his snap count and just go out there and just.
That coming from Marcus Tatum here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios from UCF to the Jacksonville Jaguars. As a swing tackle, can play left and right tackle on the offensive line. Marcus, before I let you go, there's a thing we do on the show called Rapid Fire to let the fans get to know you and Duval a little bit better. I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you. And first thing that comes to mind, favorite food?
Okay, Chinese food.
Favorite thing to order from the Chinese restaurant?
Chicken lo mein with chicken fried rice.
All right, fair enough. Favorite music?
I like all music. I try to get a little versatile. Depends what mood I'm in. Depends where I'm at. Depends who I'm with.
If you could only come out at TIAA Bank Field to one song in Jacksonville, what would it be?
Oh, man. It all depends what I work out to the most. And what gets my juice flowing. So I'm going to have to figure that out this offseason.
All right, fair enough. Favorite movie?
Big Trouble, Little China.
If someone played you in a movie, who would you want to play you? What actor?
Denzel.
Okay. Favorite Denzel movie?
Oh, man. Woo. Equalizer, Man on Fire. Man on Fire, definitely, probably. Yeah, that was a great movie.
Did he get shot like 18 times in Man on Fire?
Oh, yeah, he was getting blasted the whole movie.
Crazy. Favorite offensive tackle of all time?
I really love Lane Johnson's set. That thing, it's just quick and just efficient. Just a beautiful set. I really like Lane Johnson.
Fair enough. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you hail from. My great aunt Dorothy, who's up in heaven after 99 years on this earth, was down in Daytona Beach. Favorite thing about Daytona?
The races. I love going to those races. It's just a different atmosphere, different group of people, and just get the people watch and watch cars go 200 miles an hour all the time. It's a great time.
If I had one quote, Marcus, that I was going to put on a neon sign, and that neon sign was going to be above you everywhere you go, what would it say?
You can talk to me. Because I feel like a lot of people feel like they can't speak to me. And it's like I love people coming up to me and just speaking to me, and I love just chopping it up with people.
I love that. You could talk to me. And you know what? He's a man that lives by his word because we were strangers. I reached out to him, and he said you could talk to me, and that's why we're here today. So for Marcus Tatum, the swing tackle, right tackle, left tackle, UCF, also Tennessee before that, and now with your Jacksonville Jaguars. Marcus, not only do I hope that you have a successful camp, but I hope that you make it. I hope I get to see you, and hopefully we get to shake hands soon, and I'll be more than happy to come up and talk to you. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the work, and God bless to everything that you're doing. I'm very proud of you already, and I'm looking forward to everything you're going to be doing coming up here very soon.
Thanks for having me.